Hello and a very warm welcome to the Insider Essay, your guide to living better. Join us this week as we open up to living braver and celebrate the theme of heritage. Experience wedding fashion inspired by African couture with Matome Seshoka. Discover the art of watchmaking with Kholofelo Masha. Taste the rich diversity of South African cuisine. Admire the Basotho-inspired garments of Thabo Makhetha. Visit an open-air windmill museum in Loeriesfontein. And shoemaker Theo Baloyi lets us in to his latest collaboration. Raised in rural Limpopo, designer Matome Seshoka has built an impressive career taking African couture to the world. He decided to move to fashion after studying credit management at the University of Johannesburg and has never regretted his choice.
Artisan Couture is a brand that I named after my mother. I specialize in traditional wedding gowns, and recently we just launched a homeware and crowns and styling of people's homes. How I decided to do traditional haute couture, it was not a conscious decision. When I got into the industry, I started from Koskolongo. The plan was just to survive. I tried ready to wear, I tried jeans, I tried t-shirts, I did everything and anything, trick dances and even white wedding gowns. And the brand just kept on attracting more and more traditional weddings. My mother used to say, the way you get so excited when you see people's brides, I wonder if you're going to be as excited when you get married. They're trying to tell me about their expectation. Then from there, I go make the garment and then call them for first fitting. And then from the first fitting, we're gonna do the embellishment. After embellishment, that's when they collect. So it's just a beautiful journey, and some of my clients became my friends. The inspiration behind this collection was, to be honest, was just the break that I took from the industry. So I felt that for my comeback, I need to have new garments. I mean, I've been selling the same garments for the longest time, and so I feel that I needed a fresh approach, hence the new range Artisan 2021. And also launching our homeware, where we get furniture that has been pre-loved, and we give it a new home, basically. We do everything, lampshades, everything that you saw today, it's us.
I've never seen such traditional bridal couture done in this way. And besides the fact that we're from the same place, so I gel with him. I think he's a wonderful creative. He's also very good at what he does. That's what I like. That's what I like about him, and that's why I like working with him.
He likes to play around our culture, our tradition. He doesn't forget where we're coming from, because he's so creative and he likes doing things out of the box. So it's really amazing.
I think Matome's clothes are amazing. So far, I've worn 2 outfits. The first one was black and white, which I like. It's a 2-piece, something that you can rock when you go to a wedding or when you want to attend awards or something like that. The one I'm wearing right now, it makes me look like a god. This outfit, it's the best.
If you look at the garments, you'll see it's a bride and groom vibe. So basically, just giving brides and grooms where they can go with regards to traditional weddings, because that's our bread and butter.
I'm wearing one of Matome's coutures in the line Couture. It's very beautiful, I love it, and I love the red, and it's good for when I'm getting married.
With the red piece that Mungi was wearing, the top part we decided to go with a Swati material here. And then the bottom part I just want to give them a ball gown, because normally that's what we would have in a white, or normal white wedding, you know what I mean, white dresses. So we just fused the two. And then with the Mudianyo one, the one that we had to make the fabric specifically for the shoot. So that one, I just want to keep it basic because I serve different people, so different personalities. So your drama queen will go for the one that Mongi was wearing, and then somebody who likes it more basic stuff would go for what Clara was wearing.
I love Matome's creations. Personally, it's a personal thing. I don't think anyone does tradition, South African fabrics like Matome. Like when you want to get married, don't even think of going anywhere else. Matome is like first in line. He does from Motoisi to Sivenda, whatever, you know, native tradition you can think of. Matome will kick it out the park.
I think Matome's creativity is world-class. It's something that we have never seen, honestly speaking, as a country and as a continent, confidently so I can say that.
With the green one that Melody is wearing, she's the current Mrs. Universe South Africa. She wanted us to do 4 pieces for her. So basically it's one of the pieces that she'll be wearing and when she goes to Mrs. Universe. So now we did the Setswana one, so we're gonna cover a few things like your Setswana, your Sepedi, your vendor, and I think Xhosa as well. But we haven't finalized everything. So that's just one of the pieces that she'll be wearing when she goes to the international page.
So the brief that I gave Matome for Mrs. Universe South Africa is I wanted to bring South Africa with me to South Korea. I want to represent our country the best way possible. And so what I wanted to do was to mesh all the different cultures that we have so that, you know, they all come through in the designs. And I think that he's nailed it. As you can see, the garment is very bright. It has a lot of color to it, just like we do in South Africa. We're a colorful nation, you know, with all the different cultures. And so, yes, I'm very privileged to be wearing his pieces in South Korea.
With the crowns, now that sometimes you give a client a dress and then they would go looking for a crown and they don't get a good crown. So we decided to launch crowns. So basically we do crowns that matches the garment's hands, the big one, the big grey one that Clara was wearing, the red one that Mongi was wearing. So we just want to give people options.
To me, Heritage Day means celebrating the diversity of our nation, and as an African, as a South African, that's exactly who we are. And today, you know, has been really a combination of exactly that. So it sums it up very beautifully to show the world just how vibrant and alive, you know, and warm people we are. As the saying, you know, goes, we are full of Ubuntu, we are spirited people, and you have to love Africa for that.
To the insiders and the viewers, from the bottom of my heart, Lilina, when I said I want help, can you come through, you came through. So I hope Lilina at home you enjoyed.
Through the statements he's making with his designs, Matome Seshoka is both paying tribute to his mother, Antheline, and placing his Pedi heritage on the global stage. Coming up on the Insider Essay, see how Kholofelo Masha's Xesha watches reflect his heritage and how sharing culture and tradition can bring a team together. Kholofelo Masha is an exceptional self-taught South African creative. As the founder of his own company called Xesha, he produces quality timepieces inspired by his African history.
Xesha is a company that does timepieces in South Africa. And part of our story is that we try by all means to unearth stories that are untold about Africa. So we try to go back into history and illustrate artworks on our timepieces. And what we're trying to tell as South Africa is that as Africans, we are all one. When we studied our history as a company, we found out that all of us come from the same person. So the name Xesha means time in Xhosa, right? And it also happens to be my second name that my father gave me.
It's as though he was destined for this career.
Look, all my life I've always been curious about how things function. And about 3 years ago, I started fiddling around with watches. I'd go out on town, I'll buy cheap watches, I'll bring them back at home, and I'll break them apart and try to find out what is it that makes them work. I was in Soweto, I was in the back room, right? My bed was there, I had a table, and on the table, there was a few watches that I was working on and so on, right? And some tools were like cheated. I couldn't afford the exact screwdrivers for what I do, right? And I'll opt out for table knife and whatsoever. And that's exactly where I started.
One of his current timepieces was inspired by a Bapedi king who ruled for only 1 year in the 1860s.
So we chose King Sukune as part of celebrating our heritage. Each and every timepiece that we make includes a whole lot of research. we could take up to 6 months trying to research a timepiece that we commission in our business. My design work is based on computers. I do my design work on illustrations. I use different programs to design it, and then from there, we take it from here and we take it through to the laser cutting mechanism.
Kholofelo has become a self-trained master of this delicate craft.
You place your hour hand in at 12 o'clock. It's a very meticulous process. And then bring in your minute hand. Take your casing and belts, place it over your dial and movement. So this is where the watch sort of like marries, gives you a final look. Place your crown, turn your watch over, place your glass over. There you go.
Working together with other creatives like street artist Senzo Nklapo has helped Kholofelo expand his own artistic vision.
Oh, this was the beginning of our collaboration with Xesha. So we discussed with, let's work together and maybe put some of my artwork in his watches, And it was quite exciting, just him asking me to collaborate with him. So we just did these pieces. It was inspired by his studio because at the end of the day, it was time for us to collaborate. What I love about Xesha, the name itself tells the story, tells our story. And for the fact that he uses Xesha, and it's time for us to also, as young black entrepreneurs, to work harder and create our own time. That's what I like about his brand.
Silas Hlungwani is another South African creative who Kholofelo looks up to as a mentor.
I'm Silas. Khulu calls me his mentor. How we met is back when we used to stay in Tembisa. I advertised a space to stay. This young man showed up, and then that's how our relationship started. About the piece I'm wearing, number one, is proudly South African, man. There's a consciousness that's growing. The time of I'm wearing an Italian brand is gone. People are coming back, they're realizing their roots. So anything that's proudly South African, made here at home, it's definitely gonna get a thumbs up for me and the host of us. Chivalry Designs is a design house that focuses on interior design and manufacturing of bespoke furniture pieces. So we assist with space planning and the layout of the actual pieces of furniture. We cover different rooms. So all our items are proudly South African. I think that's the inspiration behind our brand more than anything else.
So how we inspire each other is that he's in the furniture business, I'm in the watch business. Both products do require that we execute them the highest level of our creativity as we can. There's so much that I pick up in his work every time he does it. If he puts a chair out, I look at it and I get inspired.
I think apart from the inspiration and the energy, those are important. But I think more than that, why do we keep connected? Though we're in two different fields, it's because of the values and the principles.
Yeah. The way that I see it, it's very important us as Africans to understand where we come from. And part of it being the fact that we've got to celebrate our heritage as much as we can.
We take pride in who and what we are. I think it has to be commended. So definitely Xesha is present, is today, and it's alive and it's unstoppable.
Innovative self-made entrepreneurs like Kholofelo and Silas are building a new heritage of proudly South African productivity. Heritage Month encourages us all to reflect on our rich history and the shared legacy of our diverse rainbow nation. As a proudly South African brand, Capitec is celebrating the individual heritage of their team members, people like Ayanda Dubazana, who originally hails from KZN.
I'm a brand manager within the marketing and communications department. I love working at Capitec because I believe they embrace each culture and ethnicity. One of the biggest highlights for me about being part of the Zulu culture are our customs and values, such as solidarity, humility. We have a deep sense of respect, especially for our elders. And then, of course, as we all know, Ubuntu as a philosophy that not only exists in the Zulu culture, but across South Africa. And so that is what I'm most proud of. So food plays an integral role in us celebrating our culture. So I'll be making for us ujeke, which is steamed bread. Also making sampan beans, tripe, inyama ngaphakathi, and then lastly, imfino. I'm very excited to showcase my Zulu traditional food to the rest of my colleagues, and I'm hoping that they enjoy the new flavors, the different tastes that we in our culture absolutely love.
Food is an important part of our heritage, but its cultural expression resonates in different ways.
I am Monique Martin. I live in Atlantis. I've lived here most of my life. My heritage, or what I love most about it, I think it's most definitely the diversity of it. For me personally though, I feel like it's here because it's part of your DNA. It identifies who you are. I express myself creatively through my hair with different hairstyles that I experiment with, whether it's braids as I've done, or whether it's faux locks, or whether it's just wearing out my afro. And I love the independence it gives me. I definitely got that from my mommy because I'm able to do all these things by myself. And I just love that.
Normally on the front line helping clients bank simpler and live better is Nature Kumalo from Delft. He showed us how he integrates his own proud culture into his life.
So at Capitec Bank, I work in operations, which is a branch environment. I work as a service consultant. I am Tsonga of heritage. My heritage to me speaks to my foundation, the framework of who I am. It is part of my identity. It speaks to the things that I believe in. There's just something amazing about knowing who you are and where you come from. It gives you some sense of pride and confidence. It's amazing. These are my go-to foods. I would do the moroho, which we call moro, wamkwariba. We also do masonja, mopani worms. It's quite an easy dish to prepare because the preservation process is that they boil it, salt it, and then dry it. So what I'm doing basically is just reactivating and adding some flavors into it. We're gonna do it with onion, tomatoes, a bit of garlic sauce. That is not how it is cooked traditionally, but I can add my own little flair. And here we go.
Taking care of close on 15,000 Capitec employees is HR executive at the bank, Rizwana Butler.
I consider myself proudly South African. I am also of Indian descent, and so I think the two come together really, really well. And there's no incredible place to be like in South Africa, where you have a variety of cultures and backgrounds and languages all coming together. The thing that I love most about my culture is perhaps the cooking and the Indian food. And for me also, there's nothing more enjoyable than a big fat Indian wedding that goes on for 3 or 4 days continuously, all very much part of my heritage. At Capitec, we pride ourselves on really making sure that our clients are at the forefront of everything that we do. And for us to remain on the forefront, we need to make sure that we are continuously agile, innovative, and forward-thinking in our approach. And that means having people in our organization that are truly representative of the clients that we serve on a day-to-day basis.
I think exploring different cultures is important because we celebrate our diversity as South Africans, and each one of us is unique, and what best way to bring it out in celebrating it through food or different music.
It's my first time trying one of these. I'm quite an adventurous eater, but I have to say this is sort of pushing me a little bit to my boundaries, but let's see. Definitely interesting texture. It's almost a little bit like a mussel. It's a bit like seafood.
Celebrating diversity is quite important. You learn how to treat people around you respectfully and respect their cultures, which is very good. And then in South Africa, because of our diversity, it's quite easier to learn about someone else's culture because they want you to understand what they are all about and you want them to learn about your own culture as well.
At a time when companies are shedding jobs in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, Capitec is making room for new appointments. They're aiming to fill 300 positions over the next few months. These range from jobs for graduates to senior professionals like business analysts, developers, data engineers, scientists, and business intelligence analysts. To apply to join the bank voted the best digital bank in South Africa, visit the Capitec Careers portal at careers.capitecbank.co.za. For more information, join the conversation on social media using #LiveBetter. Next up on the Insider Essay, designer Thabo Makhetha shows us how she built her business creating garments inspired by the Basotho culture. Thabo Makhetha's journey into the world of fashion started as a teenager when she'd sell sketches of dresses to her friends. She's worked hard to build her own business inspired by her African heritage and in particular the Basotho culture.
Hi, I'm Thabo Makhetha and I'm a fashion designer and welcome to my space. I was born in Basotho, but I've grown up all across South Africa and I'm based here now in Cape Town. And my love for fashion just stemmed from me wanting to also be able to show off my heritage, show off my culture as well. I don't exactly remember when fashion became something for me to want to do, but I just remember when I was a kid going through the drawings that I used to do, the pictures that I used to do. Even in high school, I used to sell my designs for around 20 Rand and we'd have the house mom actually produce the garments as well. And my mom taught me how to sew when I was in high school. So design has just always been something that's been within me. It's something I've always loved and it was just natural for me to study fashion design after I finished matric. I started here in Cape Town, but I finished off my studies in NMMU. And really being in now Kabega, that's where my career really took off. What made me decide to use the Basotho blankets actually starts with the Durban July event back in 2011, and the theme for that event was royalty. So then I thought to myself, I want to look at royalty from an African perspective, and I want to look at royalty from a personal perspective. And using the blankets was a very unique material compared to all the other African cultures that we have here. So I made this rose coat and I got to the Durban July and I felt like such a celebrity. I had people asking me, who made this coat? It looks stunning, can I take a picture with you? Later on that day, I actually even entered Best Dressed at the races and I won the award. So the garment was pictured in the papers, in the newspaper. I had all these clients from there that I'd also established who were interested in the rose coat. And basically that was the foundation ground that built the Goboyabu Hadi collection. My inspiration for my designs, apart from my heritage and my culture, I always enjoyed the story that we were telling through the clothing. And I love to use garments that had a cultural reference to them as well. I just always find garments with a cultural reference, they're more timeless, they can always be worn at any other stage, they're not dated. And you know, with the Basotho culture, for me, getting more into my culture, it's also made me look at the African continent as a whole. And more than anything, it's really where do we come from? What is our choice of reference when we're telling our stories? So this one is the Lidlama or Matlama blanket that we've used here. And with this Basotho blanket, you can see it's worn a lot more by the shepherds. And compared to the normal Basotho blanket we're aware of, this one just has that one colorful streak at the bottom, and then the rest of it is a plain color. You can also see on my jacket how it looks. If you have a look at this jacket here, that my model / business partner / father of my babies is wearing. So again, referencing the Basotho shepherds, whereas now you can see the special thing about this design is that it's still worn in a similar manner to the traditional blankets. So the idea for the Basotho culture that I'm taking across is that I still want it to be an item that can be worn every day, but still having those beautiful references to how it's worn, to the actual material that's used of the Basotho people. So for me, Heritage Day is really important because it's not just about showcasing heritage for once a day every year or just to cultural events which we tend to see happening, but to actually be able to make your culture a part of your everyday. This is from my collection using the actual leather. So the Basotho, before we had the blankets, we actually used to trade in leather and make capes and coats from leathers. The print on this jacket is my own print. You can see my logo there, and I've also made references to my grandmother's prayer scepter. And we have the freedom now to also print on lighter textiles and lighter fabrics, which will allow us to also extend our range in the future and also give us the freedom to print on other surfaces apart from the material.
Being an independent designer is not without its challenges, and it's taken courage and persistence to craft her space in the market.
Welcome to my home studio. This is the place where it's not just about fashion, but it's a creative outlet for myself. If I didn't decide to be a fashion designer, I most probably would have been a fine artist. And I've been very lucky to meet someone like Muso, who is a contemporary fine artist. Muso, where he comes into my story again, was where he started calling me and was like, hey, we don't want people to forget about you. I know you're on a sabbatical. I know you went through some things, but you need to keep the creative juices flowing. And then we started talking about the paintings and the artwork I used to do when I was in high school and varsity. So he just came back and he was encouraging me and pushing me to actually get up and be creative. It didn't have to be through clothing, but the fact that I'm a creative and just to find a way for everything that I was going through to find a channel as well, just to express myself.
She told me she always wanted to be an artist. I'm like, yo, a creative is a creative. At the time we met, I was also doing other things besides art. And I'm like, no, try art. And that's one of the painting that we worked on. It's her work. And I just help out in terms of artistic skills that I've acquired. I do African avant-garde. It's more like to transcend beyond the limits of everything that is said in front of a black child. So this is a self-portrait.
This month for Heritage Month, I really wanted to focus on the idea about wearing your crown and standing up and just, being able to carry your heritage and your culture on your head. It's more about being able to stand up with that confidence. And you can see also in the first painting that I actually did, it was very much about reclaiming back my confidence that I felt like, after everything I went through was starting to slip out of my hands. But just reminding myself that I'm a creative, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of God, and I've got this talent that I can use. So yeah, this Heritage Month is really all about the duk. It's all about wearing your crown and these beautiful Basotho blanket scarves that each tell their own story as well. So today I'm lucky to get to take my husband out for a spin. This is Kevin Quinana. We've been married for more than 10 years now. And he's been actually assisting me with my business even before we became a shareholder. Still when I was a designer, spending late nights, sticking around with me until 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
We have 2 beautiful children together. And yeah, I couldn't be asking for a better partner.
I'm a management consultant by profession. And as well, having worked with Thabo for the past 10 years as business development manager for Thabo Makhetha. And it's different because it's such a departure from what I do normally. We both bring different skill sets.
The relationship has really worked well in that we are supporting each other. The one needs the other. And yeah, it works well.
We don't step on each other's toes.
We try not to. At least we put on soft shoes when we do.
Yeah.
I enjoy days like this coming out. It's really nice with the tandem bike because we're used to doing it just with the children.
Yeah.
The individual bikes with the children in tow here on the promenade. So it's really great to get the tandems because it's a 2-man job. You can't have any extras coming along with you.
That's so true. Also because we have such demanding schedules that we have to find pockets of time just for us to unwind, to catch up on each other's lives, each other's work. And to unwind.
To unwind and keep connected.
My element is definitely water. I'm a Pisces. So being around here in a calming environment with my wife, getting to connect, it's a big part of how we spend time together. I'm extremely proud of Thabo because from the day I met her, I think one of the biggest attractions of her was she's driven. Her work ethic is amazing, but I think the one thing I love the most about her is her personality. And she's just got this infectious personality, this wonderful smile that lights up the room. And I'm a bit of a reserved guy, so you need that balance of personalities when you step into spaces. But she's extremely an inspirational individual, inspires me in my line of work, inspires the team around the brand story about what the potential that it can achieve is. And yeah, that's really why I'm extremely proud of the work that she's done and everything she's achieved to this point.
Thank you, The Insider SA, for hanging out with us today. And don't forget to prioritize the things you love.
Cheers to
Cheers,
that.
love.
Coming up, explore a boutique hotel paying tribute to African artifacts and recognize the contribution of the classic windmill to farming.
Sponsored by Capitec. Simplify banking. Live better.
Nestled among the trees in Kloof in KZN is renowned architect Peter Am's tribute to the historical treasures that capture the rich heritage of the area. The colourful Ammazulu African Palace is filled with personality and an impressive collection of African artifacts.
Hello, Insider SA. My name is Peter Am, founder of the Ammazulu African Palace Boutique Hotel. Well, this project probably started some 50 years ago. Only later I gave it the name Ammazulu Palace after my surname, Peter Am, A-double-M, so Ammazulu Palace. The idea was to use what I had started collecting already as a teenager, African artifacts. As a child, I was hiking in the reserves, wondering about the wild and nature and the indigenous people. I used to visit them, have a cup of tea with them by invitation, which those days was not the norm under apartheid, but I got away with it because I was a little boy. The place was originally going to be a museum, but the town council didn't like the idea, so I thought of incorporating a boutique hotel into a museum. The theme throughout the hotel celebrates as many cultures as possible, but in Natal especially I celebrate the Zulu culture. This we have done by incorporating these elements onto and into the building and into the architecture.
The hotel was principally designed by Kevin McGarry, who was intrigued by the concept and the location.
My name is Kevin McGarry, and I'm the architect with Peter Am for Ammazulu African Palace. 50 years ago, we were in first year at the School of Architecture at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Now I can wear my architectural hat and describe the rules we developed in formulating the brief and our responses to them. Rule number one was that if we carved a platform on the contour around the side of the hill, it would form our gallery, our route from the entrance to the Kloof Gorge. Flanking that gallery were to be a colonnade of columns, 8 meters tall, standing by themselves, which led to rule number 3, which was that the colonnade wasn't allowed to be used as structural support for any of the structure. And rule number 4 was that all the accommodation would occur on the north bank and the south bank, leaving the gallery completely empty all the way through from the entrance through to Kloof Gorge. Suggestions here and there always triggered off another response, another design answer to a given problem. For example, how the columns came down, in this case, straight into the paving, while in this one here, they're splayed out to provide seating, and these would alternate down the length of the gallery.
The interiors are matched by the rich abundance of the area's natural beauty, complete with stunning views overlooking the gorge.
The location is unique It sits on the edge of the Kranskloof Gorge, which feels like you're in the middle of Africa. It is totally natural and wild, and it is appropriate for a place like this to overlook such a beautiful venue. We're in the main guest dining area, people who stay overnight. Collections in this area are quite varied. Each one has its own identity. For instance, here we have a male ceremonial robe. It is quite interesting. It's done with leather and studs embedded into the leather. On this side, we have Zulu waistcoats, which are done as gifts by young girls to their boyfriends. We have the amazing Zulu earplugs. Today they are collector's items of great value.
Each space is decorated with a rich collection of beadwork, sculptures and traditional pieces.
This is our main room. The choice of furniture is based on the fact that we want to use something natural. It is natural, solid wood furniture that has an earthy quality and belongs to the theme of the hotel.
Peter wants to preserve history by bringing the past to life in this unique setting.
Our heritage is our soul. Art and culture is fundamental to the human spirit. It forms the nucleus of who we are. So it is vitally important that we celebrate that as much as possible.
The Ammazulu African Palace is a reminder of the exceptional ways that people have used the beauty of art to add meaning to our world. And Peter Am is a proud ambassador for our rich South African heritage. Travelling to the Upper Karoo in the Northern Cape near Calvinia, we visit the town of Loeriesfontein to explore the open-air Fred Turner Museum that pays tribute to the contribution windmills have played in our farming heritage.
Good day, my name is Elna Brandt from the Fred Turner Museum in Loeriesfontein. Welcome in our beautiful town. Mr. Fred Turner and his brother Jack were Englishmen and they came for the gold rush. But they ended up in Loeriesfontein. Round about 1895, they started the first shop in Loeriesfontein, and it's still visible in the main street of Loeriesfontein. The museum was started in 1976 when Mr. Fred Turner donated the building and the premises to the local municipality. And then the Baptist community bought the building and they used it as their church until the 1975. At the back you can still see the font where they used to baptize their members. Everything you see inside the building comes from this area. It was donated by local people and we are looking after their heritage.
The metallic choir of the Windmills gives this very quiet town its distinctive sound. By pumping water, these seemingly simple inventions made farming possible in arid parts of our country.
The wind pump is a very important part of the development of the farming industry in this area. It actually makes the whole of Bushmanland livable for the farmers of that time.
The museum recognizes the role they've played and is one of only 2 of its kind in the world.
We are now on the outside of the Fred Turner Museum, and here we have 30 different wind pumps. Most of them are imported from Canada, England and the USA, but after the Second World War we had to develop our own wind pumps and start manufacturing them in South Africa. The oldest one we have is the Mogul over there. That originates from 1880. You will hardly find any of them anymore in South Africa. The Climax, which are on exhibition, is a 6-feet pump. It's a small wheel and it has been discontinued, so it's quite a rare one. Mrs. Xesha was really persistent about starting the museum, so she convinced her husband, Mr. Eli Lowe, to donate a pump, which was still in working order on the farm. But she just told him, I want to start this museum and you must give me the wind pump. So he did, and it's quite rare. Here we have a gearing of 1910, and the main feature of this pump is that the gears are open. The one over there was built in 1930, after the war, and you can't see the gears because it was closed into a bucket with oil and a cap on top, so it's called a closed cap wind pump, and it was self-oiling all the time.
The flower season in the surrounding area brings tourists to see the immaculate displays of nature, and it's mostly during this time the museum is open.
There are a lot of people living in Loeriesfontein, and the wind pump play a very big role, making that valuable resource available to all of us. Thank you to the Insider SA for visiting us at the Wind Pump Museum in Loeriesfontein. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot from us.
This display of history helps breathe life into the small town, creating intrigue as one of our country's many hidden gems. Next on the Insider SA, entrepreneur and innovator Theo Baloyi lets us into his latest collaboration. In celebration of creativity, innovation and heritage, Vodacom Red has partnered with Theo Baloyi of the iconic shoe brand Bathu. We caught up with Theo to find out more about this exciting collaboration and how he established his business.
Hi everyone, my name is Theo Baloyi, the founder of Bathu. Welcome to Bathu headquarters. I started my business from humble beginnings, in a room in Alex with a vision to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with. And while at it, reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. I'm an accountant by profession, so I had to leave my job in Dubai, come back home and really build with our people, And 5 years later, this is where we are, 29 retail stores, over 250 people. Employed in the business, and I think it couldn't have been possible without the support of our people and obviously our amazing team that we've got at Bathu. I think conceptualizing Bathu brand and what I really and truly believed in was, the fact that the world is ready for Africa. And I think for the longest of time, the world has been, waiting for truly African brands, and services and building ecosystems and value chains that the rest of the world can receive. I knew that this, idea of building a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate it with, it will be a great idea and it will really work. The partnership with Vodacom Red is really an amazing partnership for us as a business, because in celebration of Heritage Month, we're not only celebrating that, but we are being able to tap into different markets and different clientele, and being able to elevate our clients into Vodacom Red. We are a very socially current business, and we rely on our social media to really reach out to our clients. And Vodacom Red helps us stay connected at all times, even in the business internally. For example, in the business, we do a lot of data calls, voice calls, even video calls. Now I've got a meeting with Andrew. I can simply just go on my phone and do a video call, and we talk about some of the operational things in the business. Let me do it just right away.
Mr. Baloyi.
Yes, Mr. Lale, how are you doing?
Good evening, my brother.
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to check, how's everything else looking for the week in terms of operations in the business? Do we have any planned deliveries? Are all the trucks working?
Obviously, we do have 16 stores. We killed it with all the trucks. We're looking forward to supply other stores with the remaining inventory.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Welcome, guys. So this is where the engine happens. This is our warehousing facility. So we've got different processes that happen over here, from stock receiving to packaging to barcoding to QC, quality controls. We make sure that we deliver products of high quality, and that process of quality control happens over here. Also, our Vodacom Red helps and ensures that our connectivity is always on point with our online stores as well. From how we receive our orders, how we interact with our clients, and updating them on their orders, and how they receive their orders. Everything else happens over here. So this is our warehousing facility, hence I refer to it as the engine of the business. So, our mission talks about reigniting hope and creating sustainable jobs, and over here you see the people that, we have managed to employ in the business and that are contributing and adding value to the bottom line of the business. And not only that, but, when that grows and the business grows, is because there's people that are behind the growth of the business, and we continue to being relevant and being steadfast to our promise of creating jobs and reigniting hope. The beauty about our brand in South African heritage, that we are proudly telling a proudly South African story. And if you look at our colorways, they complement all the colorways that are on the South African flag. And that speaks to how we are, so how we celebrate our heritage and how each and every color tells, the beautiful story of the rainbow nation, that our country embodies. So this is our sneaker customization lab. This is where all the customization of the sneakers happen and the conceptualization of some of the sneakers. So in celebration of heritage, we are known to be a brand that really expresses itself. We have tasked our designers with coming up with different heritage concepts, Here we've got one that is done in Tsonga, to celebrate, our heritage. This is our Journey edition, beautifully done, You can see how we have really played with colors here and expressed, And this, obviously, lady over here did this special design, for our business, So every customizer in the business has been tasked with conceptualizing their own heritage design. Hi, so this is our Pretoria store, one of our flagship stores. So we always, pride ourselves in offering, the best customer service and also being an inspirational brand. You're not just buying your Bathu sneaker. And the beauty about the store, especially, or primarily the store, is that you can actually buy a sneaker and get it customized. If you guys have seen at the customization lab, we can customize your sneaker to your needs. So in celebration of Heritage Month, we got into a partnership with Vodacom Red VIP, where if you switch to Vodacom Red, you get 20% off Bathu purchase. Any sneaker of your choice, 20% off, only if you switch to Vodacom Red. This plan is tailored for people like myself. You don't have time to do everything else. Tell you what, you can download the Hey Aries app, where you can actually be your personal assistant. You can do anything from booking flights, planning your day, planning your travels, only with Vodacom Red. Download the app Hey Aries. We are a very inspirational brand. We don't just sell you a sneaker, but we make sure that you are able to maintain it. And we have products that are going to help you keep your sneaker crispy fresh at all times. Like for instance here, we've got the sneaker whitening liquid. So how you basically use this is for all your white aesthetics, to keep it fresh and looking crispy fresh at all times in everything that you do. So for instance, with this, I'm gonna use it on the Journey edition, where the rubber is white, and you basically remove all the dirt. It could be anything else from the mud, anything that you step on that might have an impact on the color of your sneakers. So the Vodacom VIP Red collaboration with Bathu brings much more confidence to local businesses, because this is a collab that is going to help us, drive the local narrative, proudly South African narrative. And it's really amazing to see big brands like Vodacom, collaborating with local businesses like Bathu, because that will allow us to tap into different markets, into different audience that is going to help expand and promote our brand, So this is a very much needed, I think, confidence to local context, to local narrative, because after what we've been through with the pandemic, corporate South Africa needs to support local businesses. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you get to experience many other benefits of the Vodacom Red VIP, especially getting that Bathu pair.
Experience Red and unlock more with Vodacom Red. Stand a chance to win one of 5 Bathu sneakers courtesy of Vodacom. Celebrate your African heritage with truly African sneakers. To enter, comment on the Insider SA post what benefits you love most about the new #Vodacom Red plans. comp closes at midnight on Saturday, 25 September. T's and C's apply. Get more of the Insider SA online. Follow, connect, engage, and be inspired to live better with the Insider SA. Watch the show Monday evenings at 5:30. Repeat Saturday at 1 on S3.